Yep, I saw the title of Jacqueline's video and I was like, I'm doing a video response. Let's get this done.
Hey guys, let me tell you something. I am so disgusted. There are all these women out there and they're all having sex like men. Ew. Let's just take a step back and let me know what you guys think in the comment section below what it means to have sex like a man.
I got this one. I got this one for you, Jacqueline. Okay, this is how you have sex like a man, okay? Step one, change your outward appearance, okay? So here's what you gotta do. You gotta invest in some good looking shoes, okay? They don't have to be expensive, but they have to look like they're expensive, and they have to be clean. Very important. Gotta wear some nice clothes, okay? Gotta get some cologne. I'm not talking about that Axe bullshit. I'm talking about some nice smelling cologne. Gotta get your hair cut. Your hair has to look really fucking nice, okay? That's step one. Step two, got to go to a bar, or you have to go to some sort of social event. I say bars makes this shit a lot easier, okay? So you go to a bar, and you gotta find a woman that you want to have sex with. Step three, you have to convince that woman to go back to your house or your apartment, or maybe even your car, so you can go ahead and have some sex, okay? That's step three. You gotta talk to her, make her feel good about herself, you know, use some game, which is basically just using her insecurities against her to get her to do what you want her to do. Bam, got her. Back to your place. Now, step four is you have to make that woman feel comfortable enough to take off her clothes and have sex with someone she just met. And that, Jacqueline, is how you have sex like a man.
For a woman, because I heard this at first and I was like, okay, first thing that pops into my mind is something, you know, derogatory, like she's a slut or a whore, she's just sleeping around with everybody, so she's having sex like a man. I mean, it's an insult that women use against women, but it's also an insult that a lot of men use against women.
No, let's bring that one back. It's not normally an insult when men use it. It's normally a point of fact. If a man uses the word slut as an insult to a woman, it's probably because his feelings were hurt. But most of the time when men use the word slut, he's using it because she is a promiscuous woman. Just saying. Honestly,
I see that more often, so I don't really understand the mentality behind insulting someone by calling them yourself, because that's brilliant. But just leave it up to Fox News to bring out super genius Andrea Tanteros, who says that feminist moms don't have husbands because they give it up freely.
I mean, among other things as to why feminist moms don't have husbands, you know, besides the fact that they probably hate those fucking men.
Women have been encouraged to give it up freely with the rise of feminism, have sex like a man. So they're doing this and they're not making the guy step up to put a ring on it. So there are so many things wrong with this that I really don't know where exactly to begin.
Like I say to everyone who prefaces any sort of dissertation with that dumbass phrase, start from the beginning.
But I'm just gonna start with the beginning where—
Thank you!
She talks about feminism as the problem for this. Now, feminism is something that's very controversial. I've made a few videos on it, but overall, whenever it comes to sex-positive feminism, I totally support that shit because I don't like double standards. Now, when she says have sex like a man, in this context, she does mean being more promiscuous.
See, and that's the interesting thing about having sex like a man. You see, Jacqueline, because women don't have sex like men. Women have sex like women, because only a woman can dress really nicely, sit at a bar, and wait for other people to continuously try to have sex with her while she says no, 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 no. Maybe come back later. Yes. It's not really some shit that happens to most men.
And she's saying that because of that, men don't have the same incentive, I guess, to get married or put a ring on it.
And she's actually correct there.
That whole segment is pretty much based around declining marriage rates, which is completely another topic that I don't want to get into right now. It has more to do with financial states.
No, stop right there. Stop. You see, I've noticed that a lot of young ladies love to do for this shit when they talk about not getting married. You see, and this is gonna hurt some feelings, but bear with me here. One of the most important reasons why a lot of men are deciding not to get married is because of women. Yeah, a lot of women don't want to admit that. Maybe, now just maybe, they might have something to do with why men don't want to marry them. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of men don't want to get married to women because of women and their behavior and the decisions that women make throughout the course of their lifetimes. Sorry, that's just the way it is.
and changing cultural perceptions on what it means to even be married. People are kind of realizing that divorce rates are super high and ridiculous, and it's scaring people away from it.
Yes, and considering the fact that most divorces are initiated by 80% of women.
Not to mention that it's even higher in Christian families, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I want to talk.
You did that shit to throw Christianity under the bus, Jacqueline. To be fair, that was completely fucking irrelevant. And considering the fact that most of America is filled with Christians, well, that kind of goes without fucking saying.
Talk about sex. This video is about sex. Woo! To say that a man's only incentive to want to get married is because of sex is pretty horrible. It's insulting to both men and women, to be honest, because it's saying that, hey, men, all you ever want in a partner is sex. It's not that you value the woman for who she is. It's not that you're a good person and are actually someone of value with emotions. You know, you actually can relate to people and connect to people and love people.
Now, you know, the interesting thing about all of that, Jacqueline, is a lot of really young, insecure ladies don't like it when men really love and treat women well and honestly care about them and their life goals. I know, it makes no logical sense. It's really weird, but a lot of girls don't fucking like that. They don't.
Men aren't capable of that. They only want sex. So if you don't hold that out, you know, they have no other reason to ever want to marry you, because that's all men care about. That's insulting, and also it's insulting on the side of a woman. Like, is that really all I'm worth? If I sleep with a guy before I marry him, he's not gonna want me anymore because all I have to offer is my vagina? You know, honestly, I don't understand why this woman even has a job.
Pot calling the kettle black on that one.
Not that it's because she's not educated enough or qualified, because that's a totally different issue in and of itself. It's because why would she want to work? Because what man would want to be with her? Because, you know, it's the man's job to be the provider. So if you're a woman and you're out there working, now you're just degrading your own worth. You're supposed to be at home, barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. And if you're out working, what kind of wife is that? What incentive does that give a guy to put a ring on it if you're not even allowing him to be the provider?
You know, the funny thing about all of that, in all actuality, most men would probably like being a stay-at-home dad, considering the fact that you get to be with your babies and your kids, and you get to stay at home and probably play video games or read books or do whatever you want to do and take care of the kids. You know, being a stay-at-home dad doesn't really sound all too bad, considering the fact that working in a coal mine can get you fucking killed. The people who really have a gigantic problem with stay-at-home dads are women. Go figure.
See how that can be kind of insulting? And it's really not that different of an analogy.
Actually, Jacqueline, it really shows the depths of your ignorance when it comes to the psychology of men.
Saying, hey, woman, this is all you're worth. Better follow your role, otherwise the man's not going to have any reason to want to be with you. So this whole story is kind of weird, especially coming from this woman, because she's in her late 30s. So either she's a hypocrite and having sex before marriage and still slut-shaming, or she's not having any sex at all. You know what? That actually might explain a lot.
You know, having sex is not the most important thing in the world, Jacqueline. And even then, you don't fucking know this woman's life. She could be really fucking happy with not having sex, you idiot. Just because you can't go out without getting some dick, don't mean she can go out without not getting some dick. I mean, shit, Jacqueline, god damn.
You can fight the urges all you want, and if that's your personal choice, then good for you. But people out there who are human and decide to have sex, which is a normal thing, do not deserve to be shamed, whether they're a guy or they're a girl.
That's why being a slut is point of fact. Either you are promiscuous or you're not. And there are consequences with you being promiscuous. No one is saying that you're really a terrible or bad person if you're a slut. It's just point of fact.
But if you are at all tempted to say that the double standard isn't real and that it doesn't exist, let me show you some of the comments that I read on this article. It was actually kind of shocking to me. It's not that I'm surprised that people are assholes, I'm just surprised at the volume of assholes that are this closed-minded. As much as I hate that bitch, she has a point. Guys, regardless if they're man whores or not, don't want to marry whores. Plain and simple. Piss and moan about how unfair it is all you want, but it is what it is. I have a problem with the word whore. I mean, exactly what does it take to be a whore?
If you require someone to give you money or compensate you for having sex with them, you are a whore. It's that damn simple, Jacqueline.
You know, I mean, if you have sex with as many guys as a guy has sex with girls, does that make you a whore? I mean,
well, Jacqueline, let's try that one out. I've never had sex before. So, if a woman's never had sex before, that would make her a whore, since I'm a guy and I'm not having sex. But then, you get into this really confusing ground here, and you'll be all like, but wait a minute, I thought the word for an individual who has not had sex yet is a virgin. So, you dumbass, you cannot compare men having sex and women having sex. You're going to have to take the average amount most women get to having sex and compare that to maybe, perhaps, the average amount of sluts having sex. So, last time I checked, or if I remember, I'm going to have to do some research, but the average amount of sexual partners that a lot of women have nowadays, I think, is around 3 to 5. Well, if you, as a woman, has had more sex than 3 or 5 men, let's say you get 3 or 5 guys to sleep with you in the course of 7 months, and most women have 3 to 5 guys in the course of their lifetime, I think it is safe to assume you're a slut. But I guess I could be wrong there. Maybe there is some sort of algorithm you can come up with to decide whether someone is or is not a slut.
What exactly is the criteria here? I think there is a point to be made here. I'm a single 26-year-old male and date a lot. It's fucked. It's almost impossible to find a girl over 20 that hasn't had 30 dicks in her and has 3 kids. Newsflash, ladies, no one wants to marry that. I've had my share of partners, you man whore. And sex, but fuck, it's depressing when you like a girl but half the town's already busted her up. The same applies to a man, but it's different at the same time. Except for that it's not.
Actually, Jacqueline, it's completely different. You see, here's the interesting thing you'll find out about men. Men, for the most part, at least for most of their lives, are perfectly happy with committing themselves to a woman that they love. However, what they want is someone trustworthy. Someone that's going to love them back and give them all that affection. If a man doesn't think that you're trustworthy, he more than likely just wants to fuck you. Or he doesn't want to have much to do with you at all. A lot of guys don't find sluts to be trustworthy. Now here's the interesting thing you'll find out about women. You see, women more like men for the shit that they give them, not necessarily the amount of sexual experience they have. So to a woman, if a man has had lots of sexual partners, it don't really bother her all that too much. Or him having lots of sexual partners actually indicates that he has lots of resources, because women like men for what they can do for them, not the fact that they are men. Are there some women out there who like men for being men? Yes, and they're fucking awesome, but they're not the majority, unfortunately. So, to women, it don't really matter all too much if a man's had lots of sex, for the most part. To a man, it matters a lot, because men want women that they feel are trustworthy. That's the difference.
Getting sex for a man is hard, hence the respect given. Women getting sex is easy, hence the lack of respect. If your wife was a whore, would you trust the kids are yours? Okay, none of it makes sense, but I'm just gonna address that last part first. If your wife was a whore, okay, first of all, if you're married, there's a certain commitment and monogamy that might be expected in that situation. So if you're not supposed to be sleeping with other people and you are, that's a whole different situation.
Jacqueline, it was right there. It was right there, Jacqueline. It was right in your face. All you had to do was grab it. It was there. It was right there, Jacqueline. Right there. All you had to do was pick it up and say, oh shit, I understand it now. Right over your fucking head. Just...
But if you're married and you're having kids and you're monogamous, they're probably your kids, and guess what? There's some medical tests that you can always do to prove that if you have any questions, so I don't get his issue.
Because you're a dumbass, Jacqueline. Because you're a dumbass. That's why you don't get it.
But saying that since women can get sex so easily, apparently, and men can't, and therefore women should be chided for it and men should be applauded, that's a bunch of bullshit, because where are the women being found that guys are having sex with? If guys are having tons of sex and that's awesome for him, they're finding it in a woman somewhere.
And this is where I'm going to end the video, because I'm tired of this stupid ass shit. You see, Jacqueline, sexual power between men and women is split about, I like to say 70-30, but other people say about 80-20, where about 80% of the women are having sex with 20% of the men. Think about it, Jacqueline. If the acquiescence of sex for a man was something easy, and something he was supposed to do, then it wouldn't be special. And if it's not special, then it's not worth trying to obtain. With that being said, I'm done with this video, and I certainly hope you guys enjoyed it. So, if you did, man, go ahead and click that like button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comments below. And as always, have a great day. I will see you cool cats soon. Adios.